Hello, everyone. In this episode, we have another young Indian with us, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Nalin Khare. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Nalin.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to express my views on the subject of policy making. So, before I start my topic, I would like to give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Nalin Khare. I'm a final year student pursuing BA Honours in Public Policy from OP Jindal Global University in Haryana Sonipat. I hail from Mumbai. I did my 11th and 12th from NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, with a subject combination of commerce plus home science and mass communication. Apart from that, I have also played football and table tennis at district and state level. Now, when I'm since I'm going to start my topic about the introduction to the policy world, I have given my heading as that. So I'm going to state a quote. At the end of it, it's the people's policy. We are just the servants trying to do our duty to the best of our abilities. When we talk about policy making, it's a very interdisciplinary subject. When we study when we study it becomes a very technical subject also. It has aspects of sociology, law, policy, statistics, and public administration, and insights of political science. I think we don't fully understand and trust the concept and the potential of policy making and executing it on the field. India is a very diverse country, a country with which can't be compared to any other country because this is a country with 28 states and 18 union territories. So every state has its own culture, its own language, its own festivals and traditions. So that way, India is a very diverse country with diverse people and diverse mindsets. So you must have listened to this statement a lot in your normal gatherings or on televisions, probably, that policies are good, but the implementation is bad. I think it's a very generalistic statement because people don't understand that even the policy can be bad. This is because people who make policies uh, are sitting at the top levels, right? And they have their education qualifications of somewhere from the Harvard or Yale, right? And I'm not denying that even they can have similar backgrounds of a marginalized person, but because they leave their home at a young age to pursue their studies. So sometimes it may happen that when you're sitting at the top, you forget about the roots of where you're coming from, because of which the whole implementation of policy or the making of policy, that that does have a negative effect on it. Uh, so one of my professors mentioned this quote in my second year, which stuck to me. She said to me that policy analysts can't be standing on their five-star hotel rooms and look down on the marginalized population and make a policy. That is not how policy is made. If a policy needs to be a good policy, one needs to go on the field, be with the people, understand where they're coming from, understand their perspectives of their issues. Only then and only then a true policy and a good policy can be made. Now, policy making is a very complex and intricate field to get into. And in a country like India, if a policy analyst is working, its issues like since India is a diverse country, so policy wise, it also becomes a very complex country because if there are policy issues, then there are no direct solutions to it. This is a concept called the wicked problems. So it's basically like a web. Let us say that if there is a small issue on drainage in a district, right? It will not have a simple solution. In policy solutions, one needs to have the policy needs to have answers to the solutions which are related to the issues. Like let us say that in that drainage issue, right? One needs to think about the population who living near it. One needs to think about the infrastructure regarding it. One needs to think about, okay, if you're investing into it, then what are the economic aspects of it? So all these issues one needs to have a very certain answer when you're when you're trying to get out a policy answer, a policy solution for about the issue, right? That is where the magic happens in the policy world, I think so. And also negotiating with people at district levels. There are around 50 stakeholders. This is the minimum I can say, or what my knowledge is, and who take part in trying to come up with a solution for policy. So trying to get everyone on the same page for a solution, it's a very tough job. So coming up with solutions is not a difficult thing, but negotiating with people and trying to bring them on the same page, that's a difficult thing. And again, in a country like India, it becomes all the more difficult. So yes, policy, I mean, that is where I feel policy is very fun to me. There's a reason why I chose. So I had chosen up this subject way back in my 11th grade. And I remember when I told my parents that I'm going to study policy, it was not a discussion, it was just a decision, more or less. And luckily my parents are very open-minded. So they were accepting it. And I mean, yeah, it's something which is very unconventional as a field to study in. So I do. I mean, I meet people, and when they ask me what do you do, and when I say I am pursuing public policy, I say it with a lot of pride. So, and people ask me, okay, what is policy? So whenever I tell them, they think that, oh, that sounds very boring, but to me it's not. To me it's really interesting. It's really fun. It's a need of the hour. It's a definite need of the hour, and it's in our generation's hand how seriously and how dedicatedly we will be resolving these issues, because in the end it's not just about the future generations benefit. Definitely it is, but it is for this generation's benefit also, because we are going to work, right? At some level, somebody from the audience will be sitting at some high level. So one needs to understand thoroughly that whatever issues they are working on, it is actually for the greater good, and believe in that more or less. Because at the end of it, if it's all the belief which and trust which you're going to put into your work, that will get in results irrespective you're able to see it or not. But just me, at the end of it, your work speaks for itself, right? So even if you're not there, it will speak and it will be there in this world. So yeah, with that, I conclude my speech, and I concluded with saying that my name is Nalin Khare, and I study public policy. Thank you so much. So you're on mute.
It was a great speech. First time I've heard such a speech. At my age, there are very few first times. But this is one of them. Good. Let's dig a little deeper. Okay. Okay, so
Awesome.
you are hell bent on public policy and your parents don't oppose you. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did you choose where to go for your degree?
So you mean university?
Yeah,
Okay.
the process, so the younger people who are listening to you can understand the process.
Right.
Because
So
they have nobody to guide them on how to go into public policy, because the parents have no idea what is public policy.
right,
So
right.
who will guide them? So maybe you can guide them.
Sure. So initially, I had this craze of uh, pursuing civil service examination. That's how I got to know what is public administration. And when I studied what is public administration, I came to know, okay, it is basically implementing a document. Now, I wanted to know what is the document which is being implemented. So that's how I came. That's when I heard for the first time what is public policy, and or there is something which is called as public policy or a policy document. I digged a little deeper into it. I understood what is public policy and what is public administration. I understood the significance of the difference between them. Then I had to make a decision whether I would like making the policy or whether I would like implementing the policy. Uh, to be honest, it's both of them are really interesting, right? But at the end of it, one has to put pinpoint at a finger, like from your finger, right? Which side would you go? So I think my mind works a lot, and I think I can get solutions from uh, with like I think I can get innovative solutions. So I think policy making is something where my heart lies. That's how I narrowed it down, and I started searching universities. So Jindal at that point was one of the best universities which was offering public policy, and in master's course definitely it is still now. Uh, so I applied to Jindal. Jindal was my last resort actually. I Because the kind of marketing, I mean not marketing, but the kind of things which they were talking about policy making, in the policy course from the curriculum, it looked pretty interesting to me. So I thought that okay, fine, this is the creme de la creme kind of thing. So I was not very sure whether to apply for it or not. My parents were hell bent on it that you should apply. I'm like, fine, okay, let's apply. What will happen? I'll not get selected. That's what will happen. And before that, I had actually gotten into universities like Jagran, which is in Bhopal for the same course of public policy. And Jindal was the last university where I got into. So
What were the
since it was
others?
a,
What were the others?
I got into Bennett, I got into Jagran, Jindal, and yeah, these three I got into.
Okay, what is, just tell us about the other two for people who don't know. Even I don't know. So tell us.
So Bennett was for liberal arts where I got into, but and liberal arts was not one of my thing. I mean, I was like, if I have narrowed it down, then I might as well do a very dedicated and focused study on it, rather than studying all of those things. Because I feel special doing your expertise into one thing than having every knowledge about everything. That I mean, specialization is much more important, and from an to the more early you are into it, the more better you will be after your on your job, right?
Hmm.
So I felt that way. That's why I chose bachelor's of public policy than liberal arts. And yeah, same way in Jagran was also offering public policy. uh, so yeah, I mean, if I'm not wrong, it had a similar course curriculum with Jindal and Jagran, but I chose Jindal.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And
Yeah.
how has Jindal been to you? You know, you moved from Mumbai to Sonipat. Now, Sonipat, for all its virtues of the campus, there isn't a town like Mumbai around you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, how do you feel?
So I remember the open house. It was my very first open house of the university, and I was called, and my whole family were called for it. So I remember my dean, Mr. Sudarshan sir. He said this line that so since you know that it's surrounded around a village, right, and there's not much development around that area. So he said this very interesting line that to the villagers, this university is like a zoo, because because there are a lot of there's as I said, there's a lot of diversity involved on the campus. So I come from I have friend circles from very diverse backgrounds, which is also very important to build you as a person, because since you're away from your home, right? So one needs to have diverse people around, because if you have people from diverse backgrounds and diverse mindsets, you will get to understand different perspectives on things, and that's how you can make your own perspective. Although it's not your age, it's your age to understand different perspectives more than make your own opinion.
Yeah.
Because right now it's your age to learn,
Mm,
right? You can't really have opinions at this age. I think so.
mm,
People can have another opinion,
mm,
definitely.
mm,
But yeah, so I have a lot of I mean, I have people from different all from places all over India.
mm,
So yeah, and they are very sweet people, very kind and genuine people.
mm.
So yeah.
Okay. So, what are your tips for younger people, who are in 11th and 12th at this time? You
Right,
made your
right.
decision, okay, but what, how can you help those people who might be thinking of public policy?
Mm. So firstly, what I would say is, if you are researching what is public policy and all those things, right? So there's a reason why I chose about it. definitely, people say that if it's a calling, then it will come from your heart. For me, it was a bit different because it was uh, my heart and my brain were telling the same thing. And when both of these, so brain is the logical aspect of things, and heart is the emotional aspect of things, right? So if both of these things are telling you the same thing, that is when it makes a knot. It makes a knot, which it makes a very unbreakable knot, right?
Mm.
And whenever I remember while I was in those days about thinking whether to do public policy or not, I used to always look myself in the mirror and think and say whether do I have the will or the guts to actually do a course like public policy, which is at bachelor's level it is not much known in India,
Yeah.
or even at master's level definitely it is much more upcoming, but bachelor's level people don't really know about it. So if your mind and heart are doing the same thing, then definitely just go ahead for it. Because if it is seeing the same thing, then it is making that unbreakable knot. And if it is making that unbreakable knot, then you are unstoppable.
Okay. All right. What about your own future? You said bachelor's is not much of a market. So where are you? You are about to
Uh,
graduate, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
graduate in 5 months or 6 months, something like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So what
yeah.
are you
I'm
thinking?
going. So right now, I'm applying for fellowships. My main objective is that because I feel after bachelor's, fellowships is something which can help me get into much more technicalities and try to understand where I would like to expertise a lot much more. Because even policy making, it's like a buffet, right? There are a lot of issues, a lot of topics, so one can't really have a knowledge about everything.
Hmm.
So one needs to have a specialized content or a specialized field even in policy making.
Hmm.
So I feel fellowships will help me get that clarity,
Hmm.
and after that I would prefer to move to masters abroad, hopefully.
Abroad. Did you
Yeah,
say abroad?
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
Fine.
said
No,
abroad.
I'm just asking. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm asking. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Okay. Anything else you want to add here?
uh Nothing, yeah, happy new year to everyone and merry Christmas. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Good. So thank you, Nalin, for ending it here. Don't go away. I want to talk to you offline.
Sure,
Let's
sure,
end the
sure.
recording here. I'll be back with another young Indian or an expert soon. Till then, bye, everybody.